Brakti Hawa Brakatha, Yahusha, Brakti Hawa Brakatha, Yahusha, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders. Salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. Lesson will be entitled A Device of the Crafty. My source, Natural News. Article entitled Inflation Bomb, American Household Spending Over $700 More Per Month Due to Inflation. Published August 21st, 2022. The highest inflation in almost 41 years has resulted in American households paying an average of $717 more per month, according to the Joint Economic Committee Republicans. Despite inflation slowing down slightly in July, the Consumer Price Index still reported that prices climbed 8.5% from the previous year. This was largely due to the rising cost of goods, and that is what inflation does. It drives up the prices of goods, such as cars, food, housing, and healthcare. All right. So, inflation promotes ongoing debt, accruing debt, all right? And most importantly, the dollar is not backed by anything. It's not backed by silver nor gold. And what keeps the dollar in circulation is America's military, okay? And not to mention, in order to purchase oil at this time frame, you must have the dollar, along with society's belief system. People have faith in that currency, okay? The JEC Republicans State Inflation Tracker calculated the average rise in household expenses in July to what they would have cost back in January 2021, when inflation was at 1.4%. While prices did not change from June to July 2022, prices increased 13.3% from January 2021 to July 2022, costing the average American household $717 in July 2022 alone, the report said. Fox Business pointed out that even if prices stopped increasing altogether, the inflation that already occurred, which resulted in the existing rise in prices between August 2021 and July 2022, has already cost the average American household an extra $8,607. Inflation started to rise since the beginning of the Biden administration, putting financial pressure on many American households. Unfortunately, this burden has been felt most by lower income American families, Israelites. Okay, you so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. Okay? See, inflation, all right, is affecting you the most at this time frame. And middle class households. And again, Israelites, so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans based on the lineage of their fathers, who are still recovering from the fill in the blank and whose incomes are already stretched thin and are heavily impacted by the volatile prices. The CPI report for July saw a continued rise in prices Four other key items, including groceries, which have gone up 1.3%, its highest increase since March 1979. So again, this inflation is affecting the upper middle class, but at this time frame, the ones that feel the most pressure are your lower income households as well as the middle class. All right, this brings me to what? Eventually, Job 5 and 12, he disappoint the devices of the crafty. See, inflation is a device of the crafty. All right, and what they want to do, their desire is to usher in a universal basic income, which is an objective within the New World Order. Okay? The he disappoint, meaning Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah. Okay? The devices of the crafty. Of course, the crafty is referring to the nobility of Edom. All right? According to Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked or crafty, who are Edomites, based on the lineage of their fathers. And this rulership, this current rulership, goes back to the blessing Esau received from Isaac. Okay? So that their hands, meaning might, cannot attain their enterprise. All right? Their enterprise going into their success, referring to what? The New World Order. Okay? Let's continue. Revelation 13 and 16. Because eventually we know that the inflation, okay, will continue to get higher and higher. And therefore, all right, people will not be able to keep up. Why? Because as prices are going up, okay, people are not getting raises. So therefore, by default, okay, inflation will outrun, okay, people's salaries. Revelation 13 and 16, and he calls all, who? The crafty, the nobility of Edom. They control this entire system, both small and great, rich and poor. Okay, now, what is very important, if you can receive this in the spirit, both small and great, we do not see a middle. Okay, the scripture does not say both small, middle, and great. Okay, rich and poor, rich, middle, and poor. Okay, so as you can see, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor. And inflation is a tool that can promote this prophecy. Okay. Again, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a fill in the blank, and we know what that is going into, okay? In the Greek, charagma, which is something you have to insert inside of you, in their right hand or in their foreheads, and this is literal, okay? Haggai 1 and 5. Now therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways, Israelites. And we know in America, 2/3 of our people will not. That's why they are deemed to get destroyed. Okay? Verse 6, you have sown much and bring in little, meaning what? You have worked your ass off and your check is still extremely small. You are not getting paid for all of your labor. You eat, but you have not enough. And that's literal. All right. So you eat food. Okay. Or let's just say you bring in this income, and at the end of the day, it's still not enough. Okay. You put in all this work, and when it comes to the reflection of your check, you don't see it. And when you go home, right, to prepare supper, it's still not enough. Why? Because of the lack of food inside of your refrigerator. And inflation, okay, can be associated as well to this prophecy. Okay? You have sown much and and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. You clothe but there is none warm. So at this time frame, what is this symbolic for? No stability within the system, because the system is designed to further oppress the Israelites, to keep the Edomites and their joint heirs, which are these other nations, at the top. Meanwhile, we are at the bottom. That's why we need to be redeemed by Yahushua at the allotted time. All right, Lord will, we are predestined. So again, you have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. You clothe but there is none warm. And he that earned wages to put into a bag with holes. And guess what? Inflation would be a representation of a bag with holes, because as soon as you get your check, all right, you have to get gas, you have to get groceries and things of that nature. And guess what? Because of inflation, groceries, the prices of and groceries have increased. The gas prices has increased. Okay, if you want to go out and enjoy yourself, guess what? Those prices has increased. All right, it's not the same. If we are comparing the prices now, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and even in an article, as in 2 years ago, 1 to 2 years ago, there has been an increase. Okay. Deuteronomy 28:43, the stranger that is within you shall get above you very high, and you shall come down very low. Okay? And at this time frame, the stranger, we can associate this to the Edomites, the kingdom of Esau. So Esau is very high, and we are very low, meaning the nation of Edom, okay, it's their kingdom, it's their heaven, which by default makes it our hell. And let me get Deuteronomy 28:44 in here. And further proof, this is Baruch 3:8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity at this present time, where you have scattered us. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua has scattered us throughout the four corners of the world for a reproach, which means shame, and a curse. And a curse is going into the Most High's indignation, which means what? His righteous anger. All right? The curses are being exercised on us because we committed spiritual fornication. And to be subject to payments. If we are subject to payments, we are slaves, right? Which makes us very low. in a low condition, which makes the Edomites, okay, very high. All right. At this time frame, only the Edomites, okay, and the other nations benefit within Esau's kingdom. And guess what? Esau's kingdom is coming to an end. So now those curses, right, are being lifted off of us and being placed on Esau. According to all the iniquities, meaning wickedness of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. And through the process of reincarnation, we are our fathers coming back. Okay? Back into Deuteronomy 28 and 44. He shall lend to thee. Deuteronomy 20 and 44. He shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. And that's literal. Whenever you need a house, whenever you need to purchase a car, okay, you have to go to Esau's banking system. Okay? He shall be the head, meaning what? The leader, the king, and you shall be the tail, the slave. All right? So, Lord will, this was an edifying lesson. All right? We are coming into, we are coming into some dire times. Okay? And trust is going to get much, much worse. However, we have the Comforter to assist us during these troublesome times. Lord, will you edify? Shalom.